You know, when a pickpocket bumps into you on the street, you at least have this luxury of knowing you've been robbed the second you check your pocket.
Right, because the wallet is gone. It's a
Yeah,
physical loss.
exactly. It's a binary transaction. Like, you had it, and now you don't.
Yeah, and that absence of the wallet forces your brain to instantly recognize that a deception occurred. You don't question your own sanity, you just know you got played.
But when you step into the world of psychological illusions and mentalism, that comforting certainty completely vanishes.
Oh, totally. It's a completely different landscape.
It really is. We're looking at a space where someone can steal your foundational sense of reality and, leave you walking away convinced that you willingly handed it over.
Which is terrifying when you really think about it.
So today, for you listening, we're dismantling the mechanics of that exact illusion. We are jumping into this massive 5-hour investigative teardown by an internet sleuth named Stevie.
Yeah, and we also have breakdowns from cognitive anthropologists in the mix, too.
Right, exactly. And the mission of this deep dive is to expose the incredibly lucrative, highly deceptive world of mentalism. And we are putting a massive magnifying glass on one performer in particular, which is Oz Pearlman.
Okay, let's unpack this, because what we are looking at is a mechanism called meta-deception.
Meta-deception.
Yeah. The goal here isn't just to ruin a few stage tricks for the fun of it. It's to understand a very specific vulnerability in the human mind.
Because the real threat is when performers convince us that impossible feats are just like hyper-advanced, learnable psychological skills.
Exactly. To understand how a mentalist like Oz Pearlman operates, we have to draw a massive hard line in the sand between what he does and traditional magic.
Right, so think about someone like Penn and Teller.
Right. When you buy a ticket to their show, there is this fundamental, unspoken honesty to the transaction. You know they are deceiving you.
And they know that you know.
Exactly. They pull a rabbit out of a hat, and your immediate reaction is to look for the trapdoor, right? Or the hidden pocket.
Yeah, because the magician is manipulating your eyes. But they are completely honest about the fact that it's a mechanical illusion.
But mentalism is an entirely different beast. The mentalist actively and aggressively wants you to believe their powers are actually real.
And the way they bypass your natural skepticism is through this fascinating psychological quirk.
Yeah, it's the idea that the most dangerous lie is always the one that is 99% true.
Which is such a wild concept.
It is, but that is the core engine of the mentalist's con. A performer like Oz Pearlman will walk on stage and immediately lower the audience's guard by leading with a profound, disarming truth.
Like what? What does he say?
He will say point blank, I am not a psychic. I do not have supernatural powers. I cannot speak to the dead.
Which is just an incredible piece of psychological judo, honestly. It immediately flatters the audience.
Oh, 100%. You are sitting in the crowd thinking you're being led in on the joke.
Right. Because he's debunking the charlatans for you, which makes you feel like the smartest person in the room. Your skeptical defenses drop because you feel aligned with him.
At the split second those defenses drop.
He slips in the lie.
Yes. He replaces the supernatural explanation with a pseudoscientific one. He claims he is achieving these impossible feats through hyper-advanced body language analysis.
Like guessing the name of your first childhood crush or predicting the serial number on a dollar bill in your pocket.
Exactly. He tells you he is reverse engineering your thoughts by watching the micro-expressions around your eyes. He frames himself as, like, the Jason Bourne of cold reading.
I mean, I struggle with this whole danger aspect, though.
Yeah.
If I go to a mentalism show, I'm, drinking a beer, enjoying a night out. I know it's a stage performance.
Sure.
But I'm just saying, I'm not bringing those lessons to the ballot box or my workplace. Are we overstating the psychological damage here? The defense is always, it's just entertainment.
Right. It feels a bit like watching an action movie. You don't actually think Tom Cruise is flying the fighter jet.
It's exactly.
But imagine if the director of that action movie went on a press tour and vehemently insisted the movie was actually a raw, unedited documentary.
Oh, wow. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, relying on the it's just entertainment defense is a total cognitive cop-out. For mentalism to work, it fundamentally requires the audience to misunderstand human psychology.
Right, because if you discover how a magician forces a card into your hand, you just learned a mechanical secret.
Exactly. But if you walk out of a theater believing a mentalist is truly reading micro-expressions to pull a pin code out of your head, your entire worldview has shifted to accommodate a false reality.
You basically walk away with a deeply flawed understanding of what human beings are actually capable of.
Which brings us to the mechanics of the actual tricks. Because the contrast between what the audience perceives and the physical reality of the trick is staggering.
Yeah, Stevie breaks down this very specific demonstration in the deep dive to expose these tactics.
Yeah.
It's an audio card trick.
Right, the three of diamonds trick.
Yeah, so Stevie has someone pick a card from a deck. Let's say it's the three of diamonds. He turns his back and tells the person he's going to read their mind using only the micro fluctuations in their voice.
So he is setting a highly specific stage here, framing a mechanical trick as a psychological experiment.
And here's where it gets really interesting. He tells the person to repeat random words. He says, say red, black, red, black.
Okay, so the person does that.
Right. And Stevie pauses, pretends to analyze the audio in the room, and says, I heard a slight hesitation on the word red. Your card is red.
Wow.
Then he asks them to say hearts, diamonds, hearts, diamonds. But before they even finish, he cuts them off. It's diamonds. You tried to flatten your inflection, but you gave it away.
Building that pseudoscientific narrative.
Exactly. Finally, he asks them to count to 10, pretends to get confused around the number 3, asks them to repeat it, and then triumphantly declares they are holding the 3 of diamonds.
And the audience is just left utterly amazed at his auditory processing skills. They genuinely believe they just witnessed a masterclass in vocal analysis.
But the reality, the entire vocal analysis, the hesitations, the inflections, the feigned confusion, it was 100% pure nonsense.
It's just pantomime.
Completely. The real trick was brutally simple. It was just a basic sleight of hand move to force the bottom card of the deck into the person's hand.
So before Stevie ever asked the first question, he already knew the card was the 3 of diamonds.
Yes. Every single question, every fake struggle to hear an inflection was a decoy designed to construct that fake psychological story.
And this is the exact blueprint Oz Pearlman operates on, just scaled up for massive audiences. Look at his pre-show preparation.
Right, like when Oz asks an audience member to think of the name of their first childhood crush.
Yeah, and then miraculously guesses it by claiming to read their eyebrow twitches. He is not reading a single thing on their face. The deception relies heavily on hidden technology.
Like rigged Bluetooth notepads.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You write the name down backstage on what looks like a normal pad of paper, but it contains a digital sensor.
So the moment the pen hits the paper, it instantly feeds the stroke data to an app on a phone tucked into his pocket, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe to an offstage assistant.
Exactly. Or, he has you type a name into a tablet that looks identical to a Google search page.
But it's not Google.
No, it's a closed-loop app. It saves your input, transmits it to his device, and then shows you a fake search results page to alleviate suspicion.
That's so wild. So the deception occurs long before the mind reading ever begins on stage.
Yeah, the entire performance under the spotlights is just acting. He is conning the audience into believing he has telepathic powers by masking a mechanical, technological trick with a compelling psychological story.
And it's not just Oz, right? Like, this strategy is ubiquitous at the highest levels of the craft.
Oh, everywhere. Take the massive trick pulled off by UK mentalist Derren Brown involving those advertising executives.
Oh, this one is crazy. So Brown brings 2 professional ad marketers into a room, shows them some stuffed animals, and tells them to design a billboard campaign.
Right. And 30 minutes later, they reveal their drawing. But sitting on the table is an envelope Brown placed there before they even started.
He opens it, and his drawing is an exact, perfect match of the campaign the executives just created.
Now, if presented honestly as a magic trick, that is a brilliant illusion. The audience would be left wondering how he switched the envelope.
But Derren Brown offers this behind-the-scenes explanation instead. He shows footage of the taxi ride he took with the executives to the studio.
And he claims he planted subliminal messages all along their route.
Yeah, like a specific poster in a shop window, or a jogger wearing a specific logo. He claims he seeded the ideas in their minds so perfectly that they had absolutely no choice but to draw exactly what he predicted.
And millions of people watched this and walked away believing that corporate advertising can literally control our neurological pathways.
But if you look at the raw footage and the actual mechanics behind the scenes, the truth is entirely mundane. There were no subliminal messages.
Right. While the executives were in the room drawing their billboard, hidden cameras were watching them.
Yeah, that camera fed a live video feed to an adjacent room where a sketch artist quickly copied exactly what the executives were drawing.
And the grand finale is just a simple sleight-of-hand envelope switch.
A standard magic trick.
Exactly. But because Brown wrapped it in the guise of subliminal messaging, he bypassed the audience's natural skepticism.
Because you aren't looking for a switched envelope or a hidden camera when you're completely absorbed by this terrifying, fascinating idea of mind control.
It flatters our desire to believe in secret forces shaping the world.
Okay, so we see the mechanics. We know it involves fake Google pages, rigged notepads, and hidden cameras. But why does this cross the line from a clever fake-out into something genuinely harmful?
Like, why should someone care if an entertainer lies about body language skills?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it creates what is called epistemic theater.
Epistemic theater.
Right. It's the illusion of explanatory mastery. The performer hands the audience a fake skeleton key to human psychology.
And the audience leaves feeling like they possess this hidden knowledge about how human beings operate.
And that false confidence inevitably bleeds into the real world, distorting how we interact with actual information.
And we saw a massive real-world parallel to this exact phenomenon with the Cambridge Analytica data scandal during the Brexit vote.
Yes, that is the perfect example. Cambridge Analytica essentially claimed they possessed godlike mentalist-level powers.
They told the public they could use psychographic targeting. Like, by analyzing your Facebook likes, they claimed they could determine your exact psychological profile, your deepest fears, and your neuroses.
And then they would serve you highly specific subliminal ads that would literally rewrite your political views and flip your vote.
It sounds identical to Derren Brown's taxi trick.
It really does. And the public completely panicked. We believed we were being subjected to mass mind control. We thought our elections were being hacked by psychological warfare.
But when data scientists and psychologists actually looked at the mechanisms Cambridge Analytica was using, the psychographic targeting was a massive failure.
Yeah, the ocean model, trying to predict the big 5 personality traits from social media posts, it's incredibly noisy. It barely worked.
The strategy that actually moved the needle was just standard, boring demographic targeting, finding single voters in specific zip codes who cared about taxes.
It was math, not magic.
But the myth of the mind control machine was already out there.
Because the public had been primed by entertainers for years to believe that this kind of hyper-advanced psychological manipulation was completely real.
Right, and because we had internalized the epistemic theater of mentalism, the myth completely overshadowed the mundane reality of the scandal.
People couldn't grapple with the actual issues of data privacy because they were too busy fearing Jedi mind tricks. It completely derailed the public conversation.
And the danger scales up when the deception is directly monetized outside the theater, too. This is where Stevie's expose on Oz Pearlman hits incredibly hard.
Yeah, because doing a stage show is one thing.
But writing a book, like Oz Pearlman's Read Your Mind, and selling it as legitimate business advice crosses a massive line.
Because Pearlman explicitly claims in his promotional material that he is not teaching magic tricks.
No. He claims he will teach you how to use his psychological skills to know exactly when to ask your boss for a raise.
Or he tells you how to spot the micro-expressions that prove your spouse is lying to you.
Which is just, he is taking a skill that fundamentally does not exist, a skill he simulates using Bluetooth technology and sleight of hand, and he's selling it as actionable pop psychology.
He is profiting off the audience's misunderstanding of his actual methods.
You are selling fraudulent tools to people trying to navigate their careers and their marriages. If someone actually tries to use Oz Pearlman's fake micro-expression techniques to determine if their spouse is unfaithful, they are going to cause real damage based on a magic trick.
It's the monetization of elite, secret knowledge. And that mechanism of selling the illusion of mastery brings us to a really fascinating comparison regarding online intellectual gurus.
Right, and we should be clear here. We are looking at this purely through the lens of psychological mechanics, analyzing figures mentioned in the sources